Hey, what is up? It is your boy Contest5, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a build in the Elder Scrolls Online, aka ESO. Be sure to stay tuned for the whole video, as I'll be giving you some tips that'll help you regardless of your experience level in this game. I'll start very generally, but get more specific with more complex setups as the video goes on. ESO is all about your individual skill as a player. However, if you don't have a good build, you can't perform as well as you would otherwise. So, with that being said, let's get into the video. The first thing to do in creating a build is to come up with some kind of idea, whether that be an ice mage or a bow-oriented build. Just be sure to think of something. Now, there'll always be some kind of meta that people will try to force you into using, but it's not absolutely necessary unless your build doesn't perform, specifically in the harder in-game content like Vet Trials. But, generally, you can run whatever you want. After all, in the end of the day, this is a game and someone purchased it. Whether it be yourself or a friend or family member, you can do whatever you'd like. I'll start with an extremely brief explanation of what a set is in this game if you're unaware. Sets are common amongst practically every MMO out there and provide bonuses for the amount of pieces worn. There are sets that provide bonuses for wearing 2 and 3 pieces, others that provide 2, 3, 4, and 5, and finally monster sets that can only be worn on the head and shoulder, which provide a 1-piece and very impactful 2-piece bonus. Each monster helmet from these monster sets is obtained from a specific veteran dungeon, and the shoulders from the Undaunted chests you open with keys obtained from daily pledges from the Undaunted. A quick note as well, the monster sets come in all types of armor, light, medium, and heavy. This is useful later on. So, once you've decided on an idea for a build, you can pick the class you think would be best suited for it, if you're making a character specifically for it, or you already have a character leveled. Anyways, the next step is to look through all the sets that are available to you in this game. Keep in mind that ZOS recently changed it so that weapons that take up 2 hands, so stabs, bows, and 2-handed swords, count as 2 pieces of a set now, so everyone can wear 2 5-piece sets and a monster set, or mix and match things up. I'll leave you with a link in the description to a website with all the sets, or you can just look up ESO, insert set name here, and it'll probably be the first result. Try to look for sets that work well with your concept. As an example, I'll try to make a stamina-based warden healer. I decided I wanted to use dual wield and bow for this build, with 2 daggers for extra critical rating, since swords won't scale the healing up, only the damage, and critting heals for more. Since I'm a warden, I can spam light attacks or heavies to heal, in addition to using vigor once every 5 seconds, which is beneficial to have range for. So I use a bow on my back bar. You should also consider the traits you want at this point. There are 9 traits for armor, weapons, and jewelry, each having their own unique 9. I'll put the traits on screen now. But just know that the traits you use will probably vary from build to build and PvE versus PvP. I personally use infused big pieces being the helm, chest, and legs, since they provide the most effect from enchantments, and a combination of sturdy, divines, and well-fitted for the rest on my tank. After searching through all the sets, I found a set called Powerful Assault that had solid set bonuses, and buffs my allies similar to a regular magic healer spell power cure on cast of any assault skill. In my case, we'll be using Vigor since it heals. Now, I decided to use the 3-piece set called Agility to increase my stats Vigor heals off of, that being maximum stamina and weapon damage, which leaves me with 4 slots remaining out of the 12 on each bar. I decided to roll with 2 pieces of the set Lekais for increased weapon damage, and 1 piece of Dalmahas and Molagkina, those being monster sets, on my head and shoulder. I threw all this together, but then I realized, since I only ran Vigor on my front bar, I could use the 4 pieces of the Powerful Assault set and the 5th on my front bar, since that's the only bar it'll ever be active on. That means that I could run the Agility and Lekais in a combination of the jewelry, the one missing armor slot besides head and shoulder, and the other dagger, which freed up my bow for another 2-piece. If I had a Master's Bow, I would use it, but I don't, so I decided to run with a Seducer's Bow for increased magic recovery, since it was low and I needed a bit more. After you have the gear together, take a look at your stats, and decide if you'd rather run more recovery or not. If you're comfortable with it, you can run dual stat, blue food, to increase your health and stamina or magic, depending on your class, or tri-stat food to increase all 3 of your resource pools. If you need more recovery, you'll sacrifice about 1,000 or so health and max stat, but gain about 300-ish recovery, with either Witchmother's Potent Brew for magic, or Dubious Camoran Throne for stamina. Next up is picking a Mundus Stone. In case you don't know what a Mundus Stone is, it's basically a free effect that you get, but you can only have 1 Mundus active, unless you're using a set called Twiceborn Star. Munduses are very powerful, some add healing done, some critical chance, others max stat. There's even a Mundus for movement speed, so use it to fill in any major holes you find. In my case, I flip between the increased crit chance and healing done. Once my gear was all set, I upgraded it to purple and trait changed one of the daggers to precise. Since I lose some healing on my bow bar, I made the weapon powered to make up for it, so that it remains relatively consistent. After you finalize all your gear, start thinking about enchantments. Generally, as a DPS, you'll put all the enchantments of your damage skills off of, but keep this in mind, if you're dead, you aren't contributing at all, so have enough health to stay alive. You can do this through a combination of enchantments and attributes, but healers can't heal one-shots. It's why tanks have to run Evan, a set that increases their group's health. As a tank or healer, you have more freedom. Generally, it's a combination of what's most comfortable and effective for everyone, but healers can run percent boosts to healing and such, while tanks have the liberty of doing whatever they want so long as they do their job. If you really want a good build, gold out all your gear, especially your weapons. It's pricey, but it increases your damage significantly. The increase in damage from purple to gold weapons is actually 3 times greater than the increase from white to purple, so yeah, it's pretty important. When you're putting skills on your bar, try to first get sources for damage buffs like Major Brutality or Sorcery, depending on your spec, and the major crit buffs, Prophecy and Savagery, once again dependent on spec. From there, get any more buffs you need, and then start putting on a few damage over time effects, aka dots, a few area of effects, aka AoEs, and at least one self-heal and a single target ability for bosses. If you're making a PvP build, try to follow the same logic, but instead of AoEs, try to go for a stun of some kind and any other skills you might want. Be sure to look at your passives and take full advantage of them. For example, on that stam healer we just made, I have an ability from the Winter's Embrace skill line to increase my resistances while on that bar. A great passive that everyone should use is the Undaunted Metal passive from the final few levels of the Undaunted skill tree. You can wear 5 pieces of the primary armor you wear, and the other 2 remaining pieces as the other types are missing. In case of the stam healer we just made, I use a light Damahas helm and a heavy Malagkina shoulder in order to get the max benefit from the passive, giving me a 5-1-1 build. This will increase your stats by 6% and will help you overall in the long run. That should be everything for the video. I don't think that I missed anything, but if I did, please feel free to comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like. But with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.